On today's episode, I'm going to be reviewing the independent title Stellarlands. Stay tuned. Hello to all my good friends out there in YouTube land. It's your good buddy Philtastic Phil here, and
Hi.
of course I'm joined by my beautiful wife. Welcome back to our channel. Right off the bat, I'm going to say this. As you may be able to tell, still don't have a tripod, a proper tripod, nor a ring light. This is the second time I'm shooting this video because the first time the lighting was just unacceptable and was a disservice, I think, not only to myself and to you, but also to Max Ferreira, the creator of Stellarlands, the writer and creator, I should say, of Stellarlands, which we're going to get into shortly. I should also say we are still on baby watch as of the recording of this episode. Honey, how you feeling?
Same symptoms and a little bit of nerves. Of course, wondering when it's going to happen and all that good stuff.
I should note I'm also trying to look at you as much as I can. You look at the camera, I should say, as much as I can, to block out the light behind me because if not, it looks terrible. But look, if you want to, best advice I can give you to make sure you don't miss any of our content coming up, make sure you're subscribed and make sure that you have the notification button set so whenever we post a video up or go live, you know about it. And who knows, maybe by the time we post this, the baby will be on her way. Okay, so as you may see, I changed the angle here because I wasn't really able to balance it well on the pillow. Kept getting the light over here and wasn't looking good. So we're going to try to hold it here. I should say that Max Ferreira, the writer and creator of Stellarlands, and I apologize if I'm pronouncing anybody's name wrong, did email me this digital reader copy, a while back. And if you're a regular to this channel, you know that we ran into some challenges scheduling wise. So I'm just getting around to reading it now, but that's actually going to work in your favor, and I'll tell you why in a moment. But let's just go ahead and jump into the review. So again, this is written by Max Ferreira, drawn by Ben Worrell. Stellarlands itself is, I would describe it as a sci-fi adventure that's a little bit more than meets the eye. First, let me talk about the artwork by Ben Worrell. When I first saw the cover, my immediate thought was this was somebody who was either heavily influenced by or almost emulating Frank Cho, except I felt that the drawings themselves were not as I don't know what the best way to say it is, honey, top heavy. From time to time, my wife will take a look at some artwork with me. If you've watched our live show, I'll ask her sometimes, what do you think of these covers? So, honey, just looking at the covers and just some of the interior pages that you saw, she didn't read the comic. What are your thoughts just about how the female figure's drawn, or the main character?
It's okay.
Do you find it like offensive at all? Like, I know sometimes I'll show you a cover and you're like, yeah, no.
Not really. I mean, it's a tight suit that she's wearing, so I can understand like the whole outline of her body showing, but it's not like you said, she's not top heavy where it's just drawing her eyes to it.
Yeah, and I'll say this, one thing I did notice about this comic, and the only other time I've really seen something to this level, I have to say, is maybe during Monstrous, and a little bit, going back to Frank Cho and Fight Girls. Predominantly female cast, I think, that we've seen, especially when it opens in this military scene. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 figures here. 3 of them, I believe, because some of them are aliens, are female. And then you even, when you're walking across they show this, when they show this long shot of the training yard here, it's all female soldiers who have training, at least from what I could see. For me, art-wise, really picks up when the character goes into space. I really, really like how space is portrayed in here. You really kind of get the sense that she is floating alone in this vast kind of ocean of stars. It kind of reminded me of the most recent ongoing Silver Surfer run. Allred had a way of making Surfer seem like he was alone out in this vast kind of universe, and you get that same feel on the title page. That's probably my favorite um, of the whole book, to be honest with you. And like I said, just the way that they portray space in this is great. It does shift in style a little bit more. You see there's a conflict between the main character and some aliens, and she does meet these younger alien children. And once you get on this planet, I think the art tends to shine because I feel like World does really well at just kind of portraying motion and energy. There's a lot of action going on in some of these scenes, and I feel really this is when the artwork kind of comes alive and on a very pleasant level. And to me, the artwork keeps getting better and better. Let's shift to colors. I'm not one who really looks at colorists, to be honest with you, when I look at a comic, but for an independent title especially, I was really pleasantly surprised. Vibrant, especially as you get old, like a little bit later on into the story here. Um, Set the tone well. It's something that is of the same level, in my opinion, as some Image comics and some Marvel comics. And to be honest, maybe a little bit better in some instances. Now, honey, I don't know if we caught this. You only saw some of the beginning, so you didn't really get to see a lot of the vibrant colors I was talking about because you kind of thought it was a little muted, at least what you saw.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, here, let me show you this scene here. She's fighting this creature, and I'm being very vague in my panel descriptions because I don't want to give away any spoilers. Look at that right there. There's this shot of just her eye, which is extraordinarily well done. I that's more of I think to do with the art than the color, but they work in tandem very, very well. Not one to generally look at colorists, but the colorist here, Wilson Go, bravo. Now let's talk about the story. As I said, I'm not really a sci-fi guy by any means in any genres. I like some stuff, but I wouldn't say that, yeah, like I love all sci-fi, that type of thing. To be honest, when I saw Stellarlands and I was like, okay, sci-fi, I was a little like, I'm probably not going to like this. But like I said, I was pleasantly surprised. And again, I'm going to attempt to say to this without giving out any spoilers. When you first meet this character, the impression I get, and I don't have it open, so I'm just going to wing it here. The impression I get is that she's very much kind of like a figurehead, like a corporate kind of cog in this machine. And it doesn't seem like she's quite happy about that at all. In fact, and it's kind of more apparent at the end of it, I believe that she's not quite happy with herself. And Max, if I'm totally off base on this, I apologize. I'm not trying to put, words in your mouth or whatnot. This is just my impression. But she has this kind of false sense of bravado, I think. There's this scene very early on where she's got this, she's sent to this abandoned military facility. She's just supposed to pick up intel. She's not supposed to destroy anything or anything like that. And yeah, she's got they say, hey, look, you could take a spaceship, you've got this high-tech, state-of-the-art armada at your disposal. The only thing she wants is her helmet, just to keep her hair looking nice. And, she's some sort of a superhuman. She could fly. She's got strength. It turns out she looks like she's got some sort of invulnerability. But anyway, she crashes onto this planet and is quickly met by two alien children. And you come to learn that the human race and this alien race were at one point at war. The alien race lost, and apparently these children have been left alone on this planet for years and didn't know that the war was over. It's kind of like if you read stories about those World War II Japanese fighters who crashed on these islands and just didn't know that the war ended. They've just been basically living in war for their entire life. she quickly forms a bond with them. And again, I'm being very vague here. I don't want to give anything away. And they help kind of fend off these other alien forces here. Throughout the story, there'll be scenes where there's like these one-page commercials, and you have to be careful, I think, when you do that, because it could really throw off the tone of the book. But in my opinion, some of these commercials, these fake products that they're selling, are kind of tied into what's going on at that point in the story. The way that it's done, I think it doesn't detract from the story. I think maybe one or two of them could have been cut out, but overall it works well. And it brings like a little kind of sense of humor into it. By the time you get to the end of the story, there's this kind of revelation, and I kind of regret not saying no spoilers, because there's something happens that I really want to discuss with people who've read this. I don't know if the main character knew that this was going to happen. I don't know what the motivation behind the other characters were, but it really puts the whole story in an introspective space that I think is a analogy for, certainly for recovery, I think for atonement, and for guilt. If I had to make any kind of criticism of the story, and I use that, maybe I used too harsh of a word, but at the very beginning, I felt like we were just kind of thrown into it, and I didn't feel like we really had a good sense of who this character is. We kind of got more and more of that towards the end, so it does work, but you really have to kind of work for it as a reader. Also, there were some scenes with the aliens where they were talking in a foreign language. You didn't know what they were saying. And, that's nothing new. Comics have done that before. But I felt like the way it was done here, we were kind of missing out, really. And it kind of, that detracted from the scene somewhat. Overall, I was really surprised that I did enjoy this book. I'd have to rate it, on my scale, I'd rate this as a good read. It is an independent title, to be honest with you. I'd like to see more of, because I'm really kind of interested to see which direction Max chooses to take this character in. I'm going to go ahead and put a link in the description of this video to show where you can get a physical copy of Stellarlands. But while Max was waiting for me to do this review, he posted some good news that you can actually download Stellarlands from Amazon and read it right on your Kindle, or I guess really any device that you look at digital comics on. So I'll put that link in the description here too. So Max, thanks for giving the opportunity to take a look at this. How do you have any parting thoughts? I know you didn't read it, but just in general.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, well, thanks again for watching. Hope that you enjoyed, and again, go ahead and support Stellarlands. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and a subscription wouldn't hurt either. Thanks again. Peace, love, and comics. Take care.